All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could all join me here today. It is early on Monday morning if you are here live. It is Monday, April 8th, 2024. 1 week away from taxes due here in the U.S. I'll be working on mine later today. And then Dawn will be doing hers later on this week. But we're not here to talk about taxes. I've got a great topic here to discuss tonight. I'm going to be responding to a creator that I've been trying to help for several days now. And I'm going to clear up a lot of stuff after I found out some more information that she shared on her latest stream. We'll get to that in just a few. But before we get to that, let me first of all make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me check out the back end of YouTube, and it looks like it is rolling well. Let me also make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out, and it looks like it just did. And let me also do a sound check. 8/20/24, 1 week away from taxes due here in the U.S. I'll be working on mine later today. All right, we've already got 2 viewers. I just went live on the fly. I set up this show a little bit ago and had some other things to do. I took a nap earlier. So did Dawn, and her and I both got up in the middle of the night. We were chatting. We were hanging out. And now, ready to rock and roll. So let's just get right to it because there's a lot to do today, and I'm going to try to limit this show to about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes at the most. The topic of this show is, here's my counter offer at Real Talk Christina and response to your stream. One more time. Here's my counter offer, Real Talk Christina, and response to your stream. If you're not aware, over the last several days, I've been talking about this creator, this lady that runs the Real Talk Christina channel. I found out about her through the Real Talk with Roy channel that I've been following for quite some time. And Real Talk with Roy was discussing a very interesting topic right up my alley. You know, are men or women the problem? And Real Talk Christina went on that show and was on there for about 4 hours. And I really admired what she was saying. And what she was saying was triggering Roy. And it was a very interesting show, to say the least. But I got to learn more about her. I heard a little bit more about her story. Heard a bit more about a marriage she's been in for 8 years. Now, she's put all this out there publicly. Christina, you put this out there publicly. So, you know, obviously, if you're going to put something out publicly on the internet, people are going to talk about it, especially people that enjoy helping people in your situation like I do. I'm going to do what I can to share my thoughts, and hopefully it helps you or it helps other people in a similar situation. Okay. So before I get to dissecting what Christina said on her latest live stream, if you want to check out her latest live stream, if you go to the title of the show, whether you're on mobile or on your laptop or desktop, you can click on the highlighted at Real Talk Christina link, and you can go there and check it out for yourself. It's about 2 hours long. When Christina does her show, for some reason, she has audio issues. I think she's doing shows from her car. And I think what's actually happening is I think that her cell phone's Bluetooth is interfering with her car's Bluetooth, and it keeps cutting her off. So my recommendation, Christina, is if you have Bluetooth in your car, if you have one of the newer cars that have the infotainment systems, I've got one in my car, you may have to turn your Bluetooth off on your phone temporarily, so that way it's not, switching back and forth from your onboard audio or to your car's audio. So that might be the issue. You may want to look into that because, no disrespect, it's kind of annoying when you're watching a live stream and then there's like a 2 or 3 minute pause because of the constant audio issue. Just keeping it real, there's a tip for you that might end up, helping you out to resolve that issue and make your content easier to consume. So before I get into dissecting what Christina wrote, because Christina, I actually was at that show for part of it when it was live, and I did comment in the live stream chat after Christina had responded to a comment on my channel, saying that I do not do pre-recorded videos. I only do live streams because I don't want my words taken out of context. I don't want things edited. Blah, blah, blah. I understand. I get that. I understand that. When I do pre-recorded interviews, when I've done pre-recorded interviews in the past, Christina, I typically do not edit any part of the show. It is live on tape, which is what I like to call it. And that's what Hollywood calls shows that are done like that. For example, when you watch the Tonight Show, that's recorded, in front of a live studio audience, and it's live on tape. What they record goes out, unless something crazy happens and a swear word is said that can't go out over the air on regular TV. They'll bleep it out. Very, very minor, if any, editing goes into live on tape type of pre-recorded, videos, right? So my intentions were never to do a pre-recorded interview with you and then splice it up and dice it up and take your words out of context. I've had people do that to me out here on YouTube over the last 6 years many times. You can find many of those videos still on YouTube by searching my name, Coach Eli, Coach Eli 2. If you want to go and see all the stupid stuff that people have done, regarding me and taking me out of context, that's on you. That's totally on you. But my intentions, again, were never to take anything out of context. So I went into her chat and basically said, okay, I'm not interested in doing this unless it's pre-recorded because I don't know you. I've only heard you in a few live stream panels. We haven't even talked on the phone or anything. I like to get to know people before I bring them onto my shows, especially live, because I want to keep things professional and I want to prevent any craziness from happening, such as what happens on live streams, such as, the ones on the Real Talk with Roy channel or some other channels that you've been a part of. A lot of these channels you've been a part of and participated on their panels, Christina. These are creators that are running their YouTube channels more like a hobby. I'm actually a business. But while I'm a business, I do help people for free, primarily. I help people for free. Yes, I am monetized. I get ad revenue. I get super chats, super stickers, donations. But, when it comes to, working with other creators collaboratively, such as, what I was trying to do with you, that's all done, obviously, at no cost. If I offer advice to somebody, it's done at no cost. If people need a little more hand-holding, they can go to my website, coach@eliasmelas.com, and purchase a coaching package, but that's on them, okay? Hello to W, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. Remember, there is a 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. I then decided to go back and watch the entire show. I was taking a bath earlier, and I watched and listened to the entire show. And after I heard the entire show, I now know a lot more about Christina's situation and what she's going through. And while I do feel for you, Christina, I also do feel for your husband. And while you were saying that my assessment of your situation was primarily I can't even talk, primarily wrong, while my assessment of your situation, you were saying, was primarily wrong in your eyes. Everything you said towards, the middle to the end of your show contradicts that, because you more so answered a lot of questions and basically solidified what I was saying was right. And it's not about me being right or wrong. I like to give good advice to help people better their lives, right? And I'll share more about that in a little bit. I did take a bunch of notes regarding what was said on your stream, Christina, and I'm going to share my thoughts on what you actually meant by what you said. It was very interesting. Okay. Then I thought about, okay, what if I do a live stream with Christina? What if I say, okay, let me see if I can present Christina a counter offer? So I said, whatever, let's do it, because I think there's a lot that we can all learn from the situation that Christina is in with her husband, since there are many people that are going through that and have gone through that and have gone through divorce. There are many people from your generation, Christina. You are the millennial generation, one of the most highly scrutinized generations on the planet, regarding the way that, the millennials were raised. They were raised and handed everything on a silver platter. I'm not saying that happened to you. Maybe that happened to your husband. I don't know. But the millennial generation is one of the most spoiled and entitled generations on the planet, and they take things for granted. And you even mentioned in your stream that you feel your husband is taking you for granted. I'll share more about that when we get to that, okay? But yeah, you shared a lot of information, but you left a lot out. But you shared enough to the point of where a smart guy like me that's very intuitive, which is unusual for most men. Most men have crappy intuition. Women are naturally born with women's intuition. I, Christina, have the male version of women's intuition, and I can pick up on what people are saying and pretty much figure out what they're trying to not say or don't want to say because they're ashamed of it. And let me tell you this, Christina, there's nothing to be ashamed of your situation. Okay? There's nothing to be ashamed of. And, you're not going to be able to work through it, and neither is your husband, until you both accept and understand what's going on and decide what you want to do. Either that or continue to live a life of misery. You mentioned misery. I'll get more to detail on that when I, go over what you said on your show. But yeah, it was very interesting what you put, out there today on your show, or yesterday actually, because it's after midnight now. It's 3:35 a.m. Pacific time in my neck of the woods, 6:35 a.m. Eastern time that I'm doing this live on Monday morning, April 8th, 2024. So here's my counter offer, okay? This is my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas. Normally, I do these in-studio streams on Coach Eli to Authentic Live Streams, my other channel. I will be moving the live streams from the studio back to that channel within a week or two. But if we decide to do a stream together, if you decide to accept my counter offer, we would do a live stream on Coach Eli to Authentic Live Streams. Okay? And here's what the stipulation would be. We could do the show live, but the live would need to be a members-only live stream, which means that the live stream, while happening live, will not be publicly available. It will only be available to members only on my channel that purchase at least a $4.99 membership. Now, I'm not doing this to make money. Yes, I will make money. I'm a YouTuber. Nothing wrong with making money, and I'm not trying to make money at your expense. The main reason why I'm doing this is for two reasons. Number one, I don't want any trolls or haters interrupting the show. I want us to stick to what we're going to talk about and have a mature, grown, serious conversation. I want you to truly be heard out here. I want you to have a platform where you can truly get out what you want to get out. And I want to ask you professional and reasonable questions. And I think together we can help a lot of people learn regarding what we discuss. Because again, you're not the only person in the situation that you're in. There are many people in a situation such as yours. They're married and they feel stuck, like you said on your show. They feel stuck, like they can't go anywhere, right? Well, the truth of the matter is, Christina, you are not stuck. You have the right to go if you want. I don't think you want to go. I think there are many reasons, in my opinion, why you haven't left yet, right? You say it has to do with your marriage vows and you believe in your marriage vows, and I admire that. And I really want to believe that's the main reason, but I think there are other reasons why you're still around, and we're going to get to that. But you don't want to talk about that because you think it would make you look bad in front of the angry and bitter guys. But it doesn't matter. We got to put out the truth, and we will be putting out the truth. Okay? Well, look, I'm going to do things on my channels the way I want to do them. If people want to participate, they can. If they don't, then so be it. I've got a lot of trolls and haters. They have infiltrated Christina's channel. I don't care. I ignore them, right? She knows they're trolls. She has her own trolls. She knows how it goes. I don't care if people troll and talk smack. I just don't want a live stream with Christina to be infiltrated by trolls and distract what we're trying to talk about. So I propose to you that we do a live stream on Coach Eli 2, authentic live streams, and it'll be members only, meaning that only members with a $4.99 package on my Coach Eli 2 channel will be able to watch the show live. That includes moderators. Moderators would need to buy a $4.99 membership too, or anyone else. Okay? Now, after the show is done live, the replay would be publicly available. So we would do it live, members only, and then the replay of the same exact show we just did live. Once the show ends, I would flip the visibility setting from members only to public. That means the replay would be able to be viewed publicly by anyone, and then people can comment whatever they want to comment. Now, I have very strict spam filters. If people talk trash and stuff, YouTube will hold their comments for review. And if I feel what they're saying is too nasty to put out, I will delete their message and I'll ban them. I'm not here to cater to trolls. I'm not here for drama. I'm not here for any BS. I'm here to truly help people, right? And I know you didn't ask for my help and stuff, but we're on YouTube. And when you're on YouTube and you put your stuff out there publicly, people are going to try to help you unless you don't want their help. And in that case, we're still allowed to talk about it because you're a public figure and you put it out there. But I honestly think you and I doing a show together could help a lot of people. So there's no way I can change your words or anything like that if we do this live, even members only. Okay? We do it live, members only. Only members with a $4.99 package or greater can access the show while it's live. Not even my mods can access it unless they purchase the $4.99 membership. Once the show is done, I would flip the replay to public, and everyone publicly would be able to view the same exact show we just did live on the recorded replay. Okay? And again, I want to do this because I don't want trolls and haters infiltrating my chat. Additionally, there are a lot of people that have been rebroadcasting my live streams to my trolls and haters and stuff and capitalizing off of my work. I don't want them to capitalize off of your work or my work. Okay? It's not fair to do that. Now, when we do if we do this members only, live during the live portion, I'm sure one of these haters of mine would probably buy a membership and try to rebroadcast me, but I'm going to make it very clear. anyone that would publicly rebroadcast one of my live streams, myself or any of my other channel managers, we're going to see that during the live show, and we will immediately file a copyright takedown. And that will probably take your channel down, because rebroadcasting a members-only live stream publicly is against the terms of service of YouTube. It will get your channel shut down. So that's another reason why I want to do it members only, at least while live. Just for this show. In the future, if we do shows, we can do them public. We can do them public from the get-go. But that's my counter offer to you. We could do it live, members only. Anyone that wants to view the show live would need to purchase the $4.99 membership minimum. Or they can wait to watch the replay for free when we flip it to public. When I flip it to public. Okay? Now, if you come back and say, well, you're trying to play games, Eli, you're kind of trying to give me what I want. Well, it has to be a compromise, Christina. For people to work together, including if you want a relationship to work with your husband or anyone else, you have to compromise. You're not always going to get your way, and neither am I. I'm not looking to get my way, and, it's not fair for you to just get your way. We need a compromise here, and I feel this is a fair compromise. And yes, will I make a little money doing it? Yes, but I'm a YouTuber, and I'm here to run a business too. I truly care about your situation, but I'm also a business. But again, primarily, I don't want to do it members only just for the money. I want to do it to lock out the trolls and to prevent rebroadcasts. I want to focus on what you have to say, and I want to be professional and ask the right questions and not get distracted by bullshit in the chat. Okay? So there's your counteroffer. Take it or leave it. I mean, you can comment here if you'd like. And if I don't hear from you, or if you don't like that and don't want to do it, then that's fine. I'll do my reaction here in a second to your stream, and then that'll be that. Then I'll just move forward. Then I'm going to go move on and help somebody else. But I truly think you have something of value to share with this world. I truly feel what you're going through, you sharing your story as you're going through it, is going to help a lot of people that are going through it too. Like attracts like, and there are a lot of people in the same situation as you're in, Christina. Now, give me just 1 second, please. Give me just a second here. Let me see here. All right. We are at 23 minutes. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So that way I can go through all my notes, and there are a lot of notes regarding Christina's stream, her last stream she did on her channel. I'm going to take an early break right now, quickly use the restroom, get a little more coffee, and then come back and get through it. Okay? So let's do that. Let me queue up some royalty-free YouTube music here, as I always do, safe and free from copyright strikes and demonetization. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for maybe a 5 or 6 minute break. It'll be a short one. And when we return, I'm going to dissect what Christina said on her stream. And you're going to want to listen to this because, wow, I mean, she's an open book. I respect that about you, Christina. You're an open book. And it's going to be professional and respectful. So stick around. We'll be right back. We're back. This is Silent Partner with the song called Walking the Dog. Yeah. My lady Dawn and I have 2 wonderful doggies. We love to walk them. We love to play with them. They're just so much fun. So much fun. And dogs greatly enhance your relationship. I'll tell you that. I've done some streams on that in the past, and I'll do some more in the future. Dogs are very, very therapeutic to dating relationships and marriages. So anyway, we're just going to scratch it and get right back down to business. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on the main channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas, where once again, I've been doing all the in-studio live streams on this channel for a little while to put some content back on here. I hadn't put on some content here in a while. And in order to keep your channels monetized, if you go too long, if you go 6 months without doing any content or any community postings, YouTube can and has removed people from the YouTube partner program for that. And then you have to requalify with the 4,000 watch hours and all that stuff. So that's why I've been doing it here. These in-studio streams will return to Coach Eli to Authentic live stream in a week or 2 or something like that, whenever I decide to do it. But for right now, on Coach Eli to Authentic live streams, I'm still doing the Walking with Purpose streams and, not neglecting both channels. I'm posting and, putting out content on both channels. All right. So with that being said, again, the topic of this show is, here's my counteroffer at Real Talk Christina, which I, made my counteroffer at the beginning of the show. Go back and watch the first part of the show if you missed it on the replay. While you're here live, there is a 1-minute delay between what I say and what goes out for security purposes in case you need to dump the delay. And also, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something else. Also, while we're here live, I had the DVR, the rewind feature turned off, so you can't rewind and watch the first part while we're live because I want people interacting with the live stream while we're here live. So if you miss any parts, go back and check out the replay shortly after the show ends. It'll be available. Let's get to the second part of the show, my response to your stream, Christina. Christina did a stream yesterday. I believe it was called The Truth Hurts. The truth does hurt, Christina and everyone else, but another part you should have added to your title, in my opinion, is the truth shall also set you free. The truth may hurt, but the truth will set you free. I mean, I can't even talk. The truth does hurt, but it will also set you free. And I think, honestly, Christina, you really want to free yourself from, what you're going through and the feelings that you have, right? And honestly, I can't blame you for that. I say that respectfully, and everything else I'm going to be saying here is going to be respectful, despite what any of my haters or trolls or anyone else has said to you about me. Despite, things that have happened in the past, I'll say this again. I've been accused of a lot of things out here on YouTube. I've never attacked disabled people. They've attacked me, and I've defended myself against them. That's all that's happened there. I've also said a few nasty words in the past. I regret that. I've apologized for that. If you would like to go and search YouTube for whatever's left of my hateful videos that people have put out on me over the last 6 years, go ahead and do that. A lot of that's been removed because a lot of these people have been shut down for doing it, right? Or they've been demonetized and removed from the YouTube partner program. You should actually look at the channels that you're dealing with and see if they're monetized or not. And if they're not monetized, there's a reason why they're not monetized, okay? So I'm a legitimate channel. I'm a legitimate person, and I'm truly here to help people get a better grip on their life so they can accomplish whatever their hearts desire personally and professionally, okay? So I say this respectfully and with the best intentions, okay? Now I'm going to get my handy dandy iPhone here and get to my notes. So towards the middle of the stream that Christina did yesterday, the truth hurts. She first stated she feels like it's controlled. So she said she feels like her marriage is controlled by her husband. She also feels kind of stuck in a way. Christina, you feel kind of stuck? You feel totally stuck. You feel like there's nothing you can do. But the truth of the matter, Christina, is there is a lot you can do. You just aren't ready to do it for whatever reason. Okay? You also said you feel like these are the cards that have been dealt to you, and you just have to deal with it. No, you don't have to put up with anything you don't want to put up with. Okay? There's a lot more coming, so I'm not going to spill the beans yet. I'm going to get to that part because I have a bunch of notes here. But, Christina, you're a grown woman, and you don't have to put up with anything. Okay? If you're being mistreated or not treated fairly or not being appreciated or feeling appreciated in your marriage, there are things you can do. Yes, you can file for divorce. Yes, I understand that you believe in your marriage vows, but you do have options. For some reason, you're fighting against taking those options that would set you free. And you're trying to say that, and this is in my opinion, I'm going to give it to you straight. This is in my opinion. You say it's because you believe in your vows, which I believe that to a certain extent. But I think also, Christina, I think you're in a situation where if you were to leave your husband, it would affect you financially. No disrespect intended. I think you said, I don't know if your family's around anymore or not. I think you said something about, no, that might have been about somebody else. You were saying something about grieving over a mother. It might have been yours. If it was your mother, if you don't have much family left, I feel for you regarding that. And my condolences to you and other family members. But it kind of sounds like to me that, you feel stuck and you can't leave because it would put you in a bad position. It would probably render you homeless. You'd probably lose custody of your kid, at least the kid that you had with your husband. You also mentioned you had another kid that's 16. You also mentioned, somebody asked in your chat, you also mentioned that your husband is 33 years old and you're older than him. Now, you didn't mention your age. I don't know why you wouldn't mention your age. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50 in December. My girlfriend, Dawn, is 48, almost 49. I'm no shame in that. I'm 50 years old, and I'm here live on YouTube. I'm showing my face. I've shown my full body, clothed, obviously. I got nothing to hide. This is the real me. But if I have to kind of try to assume your age to put this into perspective here. You said you're older than your husband, who's 33. I'm assuming you're probably 35 or 36. I'm going to just guess and say you're 35, okay? And you have a 16-year-old from a previous, I don't know if you were married, maybe it was a relationship. So you have a 16-year-old from a previous relationship, and I'm assuming you're about 35, okay? So if that is the case, then you were probably pregnant with your first child around age 18 or 19, something like that, right? Okay. Keep that in mind right there, okay? Now, I'm using deductive reasoning and basically piecing together the missing pieces that you don't feel comfortable talking about, or at least don't want to put out there. But it's quite obvious to me, that's very intuitive, what's really going on here, because I really want to help you and other people that are in a similar situation, okay? So you also mentioned that you've been married to this guy for 8 years, and you also have an 8-year-old with him. Now, right there, boom, red flag pops into my head. Okay. So if you have been married for 8 years and you have an 8-year-old and you were pregnant for 9 months, I'm going to highly assume that you were pregnant before you got married. I'm also going to highly assume that when you had your first child, no disrespect, you love your child, and I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm being very clear. It was probably an accident, right? You probably got pregnant, before you were ready. It happens. It happens to many, young adults or even teenagers, right? But nowadays we have a lot of, information, condoms, birth control, and all that stuff. And you were talking about condoms and all that stuff on Roy's channel, but you really didn't get too far into it, right? And maybe that's because you've probably made some of these same mistakes. And there's nothing wrong with making the mistakes. But if you're going to, come out here and try to help people learn from your situation, you got to be honest about what truly happened and have no shame in it. I have no shame. I've made many mistakes. And I have no shame in admitting my mistakes. I've done that plenty of times in the past. People know that about me out here. I've been doing this for over 6 years. David, I'm going to say this to you one time right now. There's a 1 minute delay between what goes out, what I say and what goes out. I'm being very respectful. If you cannot handle that, if you question me one more time, David M., I will remove you from the channel. He said, Eli, please respect my friend Christina. Quit talking on her name. I'm a public figure, and so is she, David. I can talk about whoever I want to talk about. If she doesn't want to put her stuff out here publicly, that's on her. But she did put it out here publicly, David. So either respect my wishes as a content creator, as a coach, or you can either leave or, enjoy the show and be respectful, or I will remove you. End of story, period. And you know what, David M? The one of the worst things you can do, David M., and every single man that's a real man will agree, you never go on white knight for a woman, especially a woman that's going through something, especially when another man like me is speaking to the truth and truly wants to help her. Do you think you're going to help her, David M., by white knighting for her? Do you understand that women are turned off by the white knights because white knights are beta males, David M.? So I'm being very respectful. And if you can't comprehend that I'm being very respectful, David M., I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I'm being very respectful. Very respectful. I actually want to help the woman. I've even talked about this with my girlfriend, Dawn. We want to help her. Now, if she's not open to help, that's fine. I can still talk about this because I'm a YouTuber. And she put this out there publicly. If she doesn't want people talking about it, David M., then she doesn't have to put it out there publicly. That's the way it goes. She's a public figure, whether you like it or not. Okay? So, I'm assuming that you put out publicly, Christina, that the reason why you got with your ex-husband, or sorry, not your ex-husband, your current husband, you started dating him before you got married to him is because he's a very good-looking guy. Okay, so you're an older woman, probably a couple, 2-3 years older than him. He's a younger guy. If we go back 8 years, he's 33. Let's see, you've been married, 33, 23. So he was what, 25 when you got married? You probably got together when he was 24, and maybe you were 26 or 27, right? So you two were very young in your 20s. And you have to also understand, Christina, that women mature faster than men. So a 24-year-old man nowadays is not going to be ready for marriage typically, and is not going to be mature enough, right? But he was very good looking, and maybe you were going through something, and you did what the rest of us do. You wanted to put yourself out there and meet a good looking man, and meet a man that seems to be decent, have fun, have some sex, enjoy his company, and see where it goes. No problem with that. What I think happened is you got pregnant on accident, and it basically got you to say, hey, you know what? Maybe and I'm not saying that any woman should get an abortion. I'm pro-choice, but I'm not saying that any woman should get an abortion. But, I believe, Christina, I believe you are Hispanic, and I believe a lot of the Hispanic culture, you're Catholic, and you don't believe in abortion, and if you get pregnant, you have the baby. So you probably got pregnant before you were even engaged to get married. You were having fun with a very attractive man, And next thing you know, you're pregnant. Now you're saying, look, I'm going to have the baby. I think we should get married and raise the family. That's what I think happened. But you're not talking about that. But using deductive reasoning, listening to what you're saying, you got a 16-year-old and you got an 8-year-old. The 16-year-old was from a previous relationship or marriage, probably relationship. The 8-year-old is from your current marriage. And you have an 8-year-old and you've been married exactly 8 years. And it takes 9 months to carry a baby to term. So that's cutting it kind of close. I'm thinking that you were pregnant before you were even engaged. You got engaged and got married shortly after you were pregnant, right? That happens. I get it. It happens. It happens, right? It happens quite often nowadays. But does that mean, the man you were dating, who's now your husband, was ready to get married? Or did you both feel the need to rush into marriage before further getting to know each other just because you were pregnant? Now, that's what I think happened. I think I'm saying this probably with 90% certainty. That's what probably happened, right? Now, you were talking with Real Talk with Roy. You guys were talking about condoms and all that, right? Now, here's the honest truth. There's not a man or a woman on the planet that would prefer to use condoms because it just doesn't feel the same. Let's be real. Now, I'm all for using condoms when you first get to know someone until you get to know them, right? And then once you get to know them, and if you're a man, you want to make sure that your woman is on some form of birth control. There are many options, Christina. You know that there's the birth control pill. There's also the IUD, intrauterine device. There's also the Depo-Provera shot. Razor Edge, how you doing, brother? Thank you for being a channel member on both channels. How's it going? There's a 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. So you're talking about this with Real Talk with Roy, right? And so you've known about the options of birth control, right? I'm sure you knew that there's birth control. There are the birth control pills. Now, you might come back and say, well, I was on the pill, but the pill's not 100%. Well, women forget the pill. The pill, to me, I would never trust the pill. I would never trust the pill. Nowadays, I honestly feel if women want to be responsible until they're ready to have kids, they need to be on more of what's called a semi-permanent form of birth control. David, stop white knighting. I said the same thing, dude. Did you hear that part when I said it? David's white knighting, and that turns off women more than anything. Dude, you're being a freaking white knight. Oh, David M is no longer here. He's not here because he's ashamed for white knighting. Razor Edge, that was fantastic, man. White knight, man. I used to be a white knight in my teens and early to mid 20s, and you know where that got me? Got me nowhere. Women don't respect the white knight. The white knight man, you know what? I'm not going to say it. Gina. The white knight man, Gina, right? Got to be careful. I got to use YouTube speak. That's the worst thing you could do, man, is white knight for a woman that's not even yours and someone else's. I mean, that's I'm sorry, man. That's just pathetic. We've all done it. I'm not saying I never white knighted. I did, but I was much younger. I would never white knight. At my age now, I don't white knight. I haven't white knighted in over 25 years. Razor Edge just having the thumbs up. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So my question to you, Christina, and it may be none of my business, but you put this out there publicly, is that I'm assuming you got pregnant before you got married. I'm assuming it was an accident. Who knows? A lot of people, what they'll say is, oh, just pull out, right? They'll pull out method. Yeah, I mean, if you're good at it, it can work most of the time, but It's not a reliable method of birth control. It's not. It's not. It's not. So, that was a choice that you made. Again, I don't know if you were on the actual pill and you missed one, or I don't know. So I'm only mentioning this because you getting pregnant before getting married or before being engaged while you're dating this guy, to me, kind of forced this marriage into happening before you two got to better know each other. Now, you said that, "Nah, I'm here. I just stand up for my people." Of course, there's nothing wrong with standing up for your people, Dave. David, listen, I'm not here to bash anyone, including Christina. But if she truly wants to figure this out and live a happy life, she's got to come clean with herself and be truthful with herself. And if she's going to put out her story publicly, people are going to talk about it and they're going to try to help her. Even if she wants no help, there are people like me that'll do reaction videos to this for example purposes. That's all, bro. It's all good. It's all good. There's nothing to stand up for, man. We're trying to help her. That's all. We're trying to help her. Oh, let me do a sound check again real quick. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Before being engaged while you're dating this guy. All right, we're good. So, that forced the marriage to happen sooner. Now, Christina said that she has a lot in common with him. They have similar, morals, values, and ethics. That's great. But what about attraction? Attraction is a must, not a choice, right? And attraction goes beyond physical attraction. And another thing, Christina, I want to ask you this. No disrespect. I'm being fair and honest here, right? You said that the first 2 years of your marriage were good. Then after that, things started to go south. Yo, Eli, I need to hear your thoughts on Oakland as a guy from the Bay. Yeah, I'll share that with you on a Walking with Purpose stream like tomorrow or something like that, man. I think Oakland needs to be cleaned up. I still think there's a lot of violence there. There's been a lot of renovations done in certain parts of Oakland, but there's still a lot that needs to be done there. I would never live there. I would never live there. I would suggest no one raises a family there. I mean, no disrespect to the people that live there. It's just not the safest place, in my opinion. And there's a lot more. Sound is A1. Thank you, Outspoken. Welcome to the show. Just as a reminder, there's a 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. Okay. All right. So, you were saying that you have a lot in common with your husband before you married him. That's great. But there's also attraction. And you said, again, the first 2 years of your marriage was great. Then it started going south. What happened during those 2 years? Obviously, when you two first got together, in order for you to get pregnant, you had to have sex. So obviously there was a physical attraction there between the both of you, right? And then all of a sudden you get pregnant, and then you guys get married, and then things are good for the first 2 years. What happened within those 2 years? I hate to assume, but I have to, because I want to help you. I want to keep it real, and I want you to understand what's going on. I'm very intuitive. I can see these things, okay? No disrespect, Christina. Things happen. People gain weight, and people stop taking care of themselves physically when they get comfortable in a relationship. Now, again, I have a lot of respect for you. I'm not trying to bash you or anything, but I'm trying to put this into perspective so maybe you can understand why you're going through what you're going through. I think that over the first 2 years of your marriage, you gained a lot of weight and your husband lost attraction for you. Now, listen, maybe you two are still intimate at times, but probably not as much. It's none of my business. I don't care. But that's what typically happens, okay? Because here's the thing, Christina, with all due respect, I have never once seen you on camera on any live stream you've done. I've never seen you on camera. I see you always using a picture on your StreamYard, a static picture, right? Now, maybe you'll come back and say, well, I don't have a good camera. You have a cell phone. We all have a cell phone. Cell phones have great cameras. You use your cell phone for video, right? Or you use your cell phone to do StreamYard, right? You can also use the camera. You just have to hit the button and turn the camera on instead of turn the camera off, right? And I'm saying this as respectfully as possible. What that leads me to believe is that you don't want to show what you look like on camera because maybe you're not happy with what you look like. No disrespect intended. No disrespect intended. I'm not trying to shame you. I'm saying this is, if I use deductive reasoning and try to fill in the blanks and the gaps that you're not saying, this is what I think is happening. Outspoken, I go to a dispensary on 10th Avenue in Oakland, and it is literally like being in Grand Theft Auto. God bless the everyday people living there just trying to get by, but agreed, I could never do it myself. Yeah, I've been to a dispensary in Oakland. It's called Embark. It's in a little bit of a nicer area, but I used to go there when our local dispensary here in Redwood City wouldn't have as much product in stock. Now they keep everything in stock. I haven't had to go to Oakland in ages. And we have 3 dispensaries now in Redwood City. So, there's no problem getting, my girlfriend smokes 420 for medicinal purposes. So I don't smoke it, but she does. And, we go, there to get, stuff every now and then when she runs out. Razor Rez, Christina uses filters on her pictures, looks like cat. I agree. And she does it because it's an insecurity. No disrespect, Christina. I think what happened was you gained a lot of weight after you had your kid, and you probably kept gaining more weight because probably initially you weren't working like you are now. You said you're working the Uber thing now. Probably you weren't working. You're taking care of 2 kids. And your husband was going to work, and so you weren't moving around as much, and you gained weight. And what happens when people gain weight? Okay? They don't feel as good about themselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. And then the partner you're with that was once sexually attracted to you has started to lose attraction. It may be a harsh thing to say, but it's the truth. It's the absolute truth, right? So I think you gained weight, and I think your husband started to lose attraction for you and started to make excuses about being intimate with you. Next thing you know, after a while, these excuses start to get to you, right? And you've been starting to wonder what's really going on here, right? Number one, I don't think he was ready to get married. I think that when you both had an unplanned pregnancy, it forced him into marriage. And then after that, first couple of years, you probably had the kid. Maybe you got back into decent shape. But then, probably you weren't working. You were staying at home, taking care of all of the, household chores like you mentioned you take care of usually. And then you started gaining weight. She's probably sexually deprived and frustrated. Yeah, because she stopped taking care of herself and gained weight, and her husband lost attraction for her. So her husband's being standoffish, right? But she's not coming out here and saying this. I'm putting this more into perspective than anyone will, because I just don't think a lot of the people she associates with, no disrespect, are intuitive or smart enough to figure it out. right? They're trying to sit there, and maybe either blame her husband or blame her. I think they're both at fault. I honestly think they both were never meant to be together. But because she got pregnant before they got married, and I'm highly guessing that because they have an 8-year-old and they've been married for 8 years, this relationship was forced, right? I have no doubt in my mind you're right about that razor edge. She's deprived and frustrated sexually. Absolutely. Absolutely. She works Uber Eats once her husband comes home, and she does live streams from the road while working. Well, why would you, if your husband makes enough money to support the family, why would you, as soon as he gets home, get in your car and drive for Uber? I hope you're also multi-apping with DoorDash, because, having just one app is not going to get you the best offers. And if you're not taking offers at least $2 to $3 a mile, you're not going to make money. You're also wearing your car into the ground. You're going to need new tires more often, new brakes more often. Your transmission could go out. You're going to need more oil changes, right? There's a greater chance of you getting into an accident. And also, do you even have the proper insurance that covers the food delivery endorsement and the rideshare endorsement? You're probably not doing rideshare, but you need to make sure that your insurance covers food delivery. If not, you get into an accident, they're not going to cover you. Then you're more screwed, right? You're probably not thinking about that. What you're thinking about is, my husband comes home. I don't want to be near him. I need space. He doesn't want to be near me. He needs space. I got to deal with this because I'm in this situation, and I'm going to be good to my vows. But because I'm frustrated, I'm going to just go out and work Uber, and I'm going to do live streams while I'm doing it, right? So he comes home, let's say, 5 o'clock? Then you get on the road at 5 and you go out there until 10 o'clock at night? Is it safe to be out there after 9 or 10? A woman being out there at that time? I wouldn't want my wife or girlfriend being out there at that time unless I was with her. It's not that I don't trust her. I don't trust the other people. And quite frankly, I think sometimes you just sit waiting for hours for an order and do these live streams. And I think you're using it as an excuse to get out of the house. So he goes to work in the morning, and you're there with the kids. He comes home, he's there with the kids, and you go to work, and you two never spend time together. What kind of a marriage is that? What kind of a marriage is that? I bet you he's not forcing you to go work. I bet you're doing that because you want to be out of the house. And this is your escape from the situation you put yourself into over 8 years ago. You put yourself in this situation. Now, he put himself in this situation too. You both put yourself in this situation. And basically, in my opinion, all this ever was supposed to be was like a hookup or a fling or a short-term relationship. But because you got pregnant, now you both end up getting married. You force the marriage, and look what happens. Just curious, have you ever been out of Cali? Absolutely. I've been to Arizona. I've been to Nevada. I've been to Oregon. I've been to many places. Are you saying that because I'm speaking about things based on how things are in California? No, I'm speaking about things in general. It doesn't matter. I'm assuming, David, you're asking that because my views are very California liberal centric. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm actually more down the middle. Yeah, I'm a slight left liberal, but my views are down the middle. I like views from the left and the right, and I also don't like views from the left and right. Basically, I don't like extremism one way or the other. So I get it. I understand why you asked. It's all good. I may have to take another break here in a second before I continue because there's a lot to go over. Okay. So yeah, YouTube is your outlet, Christina, and driving for Uber is your outlet. Have you made enough money doing Uber and whatever other app you're using, gig app you're using? Have you made enough money to justify spending that much time away from your family? Kind of sounds like to me this is your escape. Let me go through a few more things here. Then I'm going to take one more break and then come back and finish it up. So I put a note here and I said, there's something about her husband she's not willing to share that obviously bugs her. But then there was more that she said. I was in my bathtub taking an Epsom salt bath earlier tonight. No, bro, I'm from Cali too, but I was just curious. No problem, man. It's cool. No problem. She said, it's not as bad as it sounds. Oh, it's bad. It's bad, Christina. That's the problem. You're trying to downplay it. It's bad. You're trying to downplay it because you put yourself in this position over 8 years ago because you were an older woman, a couple, 2, 3 years older, looking to bang a hot younger guy. That's what you did. And now you're trying to kind of cover up the fact that initially this was the purpose of meeting this guy. He was a hot guy, he was younger, and you wanted to have some fun. Okay. See, when I put myself on the dating field, when I met Dawn, I wasn't looking to get laid or just get laid. Of course, every guy, every woman wants to get laid. That's, if you're in a relationship, you're going to do that. I was looking for a real relationship. I was looking for a connection. And not only did Dawn and I have the physical attraction from the beginning, we also had a strong mental and emotional bond, which is very important. Obviously, you don't seem to have that strong mental and emotional bond with your husband, because if you did, it wouldn't matter how much either of you weigh, right? You'd still love each other no matter what, right? And let's say you did gain some weight and he really cared about you. Instead of playing video games all day and doing stuff like that and having you go out there and work Uber, right? He would say, hey, babe, when I come home from work, let's take an hour walk each day with the kids. Let's go to the park, take an hour walk, and that'll get us our exercise. We can stay healthy and fit. Or if you've been out of shape, that would help you get back into shape. Why wasn't that a possibility, right? When two people really care about each other, right, they can get through anything. And it becomes more than just looks. But if he really cared and you did gain the weight, he would have basically suggested, hey, let's go take some walks with the kids. Let's get out of the house. Let's be a family. And let's get our exercise in, right? But that never happened. That never happened. So again, she said it's not as bad as it sounds, but our relationship needs work. Every relationship needs work, of course. I work on mine every day with Dawn, but Dawn and I communicate, something that you and your husband don't do, which you mentioned later on. We'll bring it back up again. Without communication, you have nothing. I talk with Dawn all the time. Now, do we agree on everything? No. We agree on a lot, but I don't force her to agree on everything, and she doesn't force me to agree on everything. We talk things out. We communicate, right? We're open and honest with each other. If you close the lines of communication, it's over. There's nothing left without communication. You must have a constant flow of two-way communication in the relationship, or it won't work. It won't work. Give me a second here. Ha 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 ha. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, sorry about that. Give me a second here. Him playing video games doesn't bother her at all, she said. That's a bunch of crap, Christina. Christina, listen. You can bullshit myself, Roy, and everyone else all you want. Just do me a favor. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't BS yourself. BS us all you want, but don't BS yourself. She said she could care less what he does. If you think that she's BSing when she says she could care less what he does, put a 1 in the chat. If you think she's BS, come on, Christina. Do you expect myself at 50 years old, with all the experience I have in life and dating and all that, to buy that? Outspoken says, you're hitting the nail on the head this morning. I don't know the first thing about this lady or her relationship, but everything you're saying checks out in my book. Yeah, I'm being honest, bro. You know, I want to help her. I want to help people like this, but you cannot help people like this if you tippy-toe or pussyfoot around it. You got to give straight up tough love. She knows I'm right. And I'm not trying to be right to one-up her. I want to help the woman. I want to help people. My girlfriend Dawn and I want to help people, right? And quite honestly, my girlfriend Dawn has been in similar situations. She also has been married and has 2 kids. And maybe one day, Christina, I can connect you with my girlfriend Dawn. She might be willing to help you free of charge. There's a lot that we can do to help you here. If you're open to it, we actually care. And you have to ignore those trolls and haters, because they're going through similar things that you're going through, or even worse. She does care. You absolutely do care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't say it. You wouldn't be coming out here on YouTube and using it as your outlet. This is your outlet, but you could turn it into something a lot more. That's up to you. I'm going to read one more thing, then take a break and come back. Furthermore, she says, we have no communication like whatsoever. So then why are you with him? You don't talk? This is your husband. You have a kid with him. We have no communication like whatsoever. She then says, that's really bad. It's not like anything worse than that. Why are you trying to downplay it, Christina? You're trying to downplay the situation. If you continue to downplay everything, it's going to make the matters worse. You're trying to downplay the situation, Christina, because you're ashamed of the mistakes you've made, stemming back to, when you first got with this guy, right? And there's no shame. You got pregnant, so what? It happens, right? But maybe you're ashamed of getting pregnant probably for the second time out of wedlock. So basically this time, I think you pushed the guy into marrying you, if you want the honest truth, right? I think you forced this marriage. I don't think he was ready for it. That's the cold hard truth. I think you're struggling to admit the mistakes you made initially. She feels a lot of things. She feels a lot of it has to do with stress on his part. Stress? No. It has to do with a loss of attraction. It has to do with him being forced into a marriage he wasn't ready for. It has to do with you probably gaining some weight and him losing physical attraction for you, which is why he was probably with you in the first place. And you were with him in the first place. You admitted that it was looks on Roy's stream. You admitted that, right? With the things that he's going through. Yeah, he's trapped. You both are trapped. You both are in a relationship or a marriage that should have never happened. This should have been a short fling or whatever, but the fact that you got pregnant changed everything. That's the bottom line. You're not talking about that, but I am, because I'm very intuitive. So there's a reason behind it. He's not just doing it because he wants to. Again, Christina, you can try to BS. You can BS myself, Roy, and everyone else here. Just don't BS yourself. Don't do this to yourself. Her husband is 33 and she's older than him. Hasn't mentioned age yet, but I'm assuming you're 35 or 36. I'm going to go with 35. Okay. Now, if you're older than that, if you're 38 or 40, if you're like 7 years older than him, I mean, come on. That's quite an age difference. You know, now if the man was 7 years older than you, different story, because women mature faster than men. But come on. If you're a woman that's 5 to 7 years older than a man you're with, you're clearly with him for one reason. And that's sex, possibly money. I got to keep it real. I'm sorry. I'm keeping it real. All right. I'm going to take another quick break and then come back. I still have probably another 30 to 35 minutes to go here. I really care about her and anyone else in a similar situation. I truly care. But no one can ever help someone in a situation like hers if you don't, if you don't speak of the truth. You may not like what I'm saying, Christina, but I'll tell you this. The more upset that you get, I hope you don't get upset. I hope that you can take what I say at face value and figure out what the right thing is to do. In my opinion, I think the right thing, and I don't care what these other trolls say, I think the right thing to do is to dissolve this marriage. But that's up to you. This marriage should have never happened. But anyway, let me take a quick break here. Let's see here. What am I going to play? Let me see here. All right, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for another, 5, 6, 7 minute break. And when we return, we're going to finish up the show. There's some more notes here, and it gets even better than it already has. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. We are back, and we are just going to scratch it and get right back down to business. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube, live on the main channel, Coach Eli, Elias Melas. Please also make sure you go below the description if you haven't already done so and subscribe to my other channel, Coach Eli, 2 Authentic Live Streams. Link is below in the description. Subscribe. Make sure you bang the bell, and then make sure you select all for all notifications, or you will only get occasional notifications. A lot of people complain, I never got the notification. Well, anytime I subscribe to a channel and then I hit the bell and then I change it to all notifications or select all notifications, I never miss a notification. You folks are simply not tapping the bell and selecting all. You got to make sure you do that, or you won't get all notifications. All right, let's just get right back to it, because I am getting a little tired, and there's so much more to go through, and I want to make sure I get through all of this here. But before I do that, let me make sure that the sound is still good. I'm going to test it. I always test the sound. Sound's important. It is. Subscribe to my other channel, Coach Eli, 2 Authentic Live Streams. We're all good. Okay. We're all good. Okie dokie. Let's continue here. Furthermore, in the stream, Christina said she feels like a single mom in her marriage. Well, that's exactly what you are, because he's not supporting you. And if you want my honest opinion, I think he's, like I said, he's lost attraction for you. And, you know, he's just basically living with you like a roommate. You both are like roommates. You're not lovers anymore. You're roommates. And someone in her chat said the same thing, in a similar situation, I guess they were dealing with, right? That's what you are. I mean, I appreciate you being honest about that. But you're either not understanding why you're in that position, or you just don't want to understand that. You just don't want to understand it, because if you do what you know you need to do and what most people would suggest you do, it would cost you a lot, right? Furthermore, she says, Christina feels like she is taking care of another child while dealing with her husband. So in essence, you called your husband a man-child, which is exactly how he's behaving. But at the same time, you're not willing to, come to terms and say to yourself that you put yourself in this position over 8 years ago when you first met him. You were older than him. He was a younger, hotter guy that you wanted to be intimate with and have fun with. And again, I think you ended up getting pregnant, and then this marriage was forced, right? Because, if he got you pregnant, he is responsible for that kid until he's 18, and you get child support. Now, I don't know if you folks talked about that. I don't know how it went back then, but however it went back then, based on what's happening now, to me seems like it was forced. I don't know. Maybe you were in a tough situation and you needed a guy to, take care of you. I don't know what your financial situation was before that. You said you were working and you were happy and you had a car and all that. But I think if you were in a good situation, I don't even think you would mention that you had a car and all that. People that have to mention all those things are typically trying to prove that they're in a good situation when they're really not. And that's okay. That's okay. Lots of the things he does are unacceptable. I would agree, but why is he doing those things that are unacceptable? If he was forced into a marriage that he never wanted to be a part of, or just went along with it because you were pregnant and now he's responsible for a kid until age 18, it just seems like this was doomed from the start, in my opinion. Most of the things he does would be to where someone would not want to deal with him and they would just want a divorce. Okay, so let me repeat that again, Christina. Those are your words you said on your stream. Most of the things he does would not be to where someone would not want to deal with him and they would just want a divorce. So why don't you divorce him then? I'll tell you why you don't want to divorce him. Let's be real about it. I don't hate you. I don't think you're a bad person. I think the both of you made a big mistake here. And I think he's come to terms with it, but he's not, he's sticking around the marriage for some reason. I'll tell you why, because he's the breadwinner and it would cost him, right? You, on the flip side, are sticking around because you probably have nowhere else to go. And another thing, you've been married for 8 years. In your state, in order to get full alimony, I believe you need to be married for 10 years. And then you also get to split the marital assets, right? Here in California, there's no time. Like, you get full alimony, I believe, from if you get married, get divorced, alimony's there. Look up the laws. I believe it was different in the past, but it was changed. I looked it up earlier tonight. I believe you're in Ohio, and in Ohio, I believe you need to be married for 10 years to get full alimony. So you're at the 8-year mark. It seems like to me, and I hate to say this, I got to keep it real, Christina. It seems like to me that you are on your way out, but you're waiting for the 10-year mark. And if that's the case, I don't know. I'm really flabbergasted by the whole thing. This is where guys get upset and say, women wanted equal rights. They got them. You were all liberated. You wanted to be independent. You wanted to make your own money and support yourselves. Okay. We said fine. But ever since that happened, look what's happened. Look at all the issues we've had. Now, again, I'm all for women having equal rights. I respect that. But when those equal rights don't benefit women, then they seek out special privileges, right? Or they play the system, right? Or they make things bigger than they actually are, right? So we're looking at the 8-year mark, 2 more years to go, and I believe that fully vests you into a lifetime of alimony from this guy. I want you to really think about that, Christina, and think about if you were in his shoes, how would you feel about that, right? Now, I don't know how smart this guy is. It kind of sounds like to me he's inexperienced. You got with him when he was young, like 25. I don't know if he has both his parents. I don't know if they spoiled him or whatever. Mr. Flex. Mr. Flex, have yourself a nice day. I don't need any of your garbage here, Mr. Flex. Go back to your drama. Go back to your fake drama while you drive around delivering for DoorDash and Uber or whatever. I'm good at what I do, Mr. Flex. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Have a nice day, sir. Thank you for stopping by and giving me a view and a monetized playback. Thank you. Every few pennies of the monetized playbacks adds up, Mr. Flex. Thank you for that. Yeah, he's triggered. They're all going to be triggered. Because like Christina said in her video, in her stream, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. Okay. So yeah. That's where I think we're truly at. I don't think Christina can afford to leave this marriage, at least until the 10-year period where she gets full alimony. And in that case, I believe she would get full alimony until she gets remarried. And then you're looking at child support too. I mean, this guy, honestly, no disrespect to you, Christina. I hope you and him can work it out. But this guy's in a really, really bad. You think you're in a bad position, Christina? This guy's in a really, really bad position. Hey, hi, Christina. How you doing? She's here early in the morning. Mr. Flex hasn't had any nookie since his mom had him. I'm going to give you a big round of applause for that one, man. That one made my day. By the way, Christina, there's a 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out here on these in-studio streams. Wow. This is so important that Christina is here live in the chat. Let me make sure that's the real Christina. Let me check that out. Go to channel. It is her. It's the real her. Yeah. Mr. Flex, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. He's like his mid-30s, and he acts like a 15-year-old or 12-year-old or 10-year-old. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Furthermore, Christina said if they go to a marriage counselor, real talk with Christina says, LOL Razor. Christina said if they go to a marriage counselor, they're going to point out every little detail and they're going to say you're wrong. So she was saying this, if her and her husband went to a counselor, a marriage counselor or therapist or something, they're going to make him aware of everything he's doing wrong. And she asked her husband, are you prepared for that? He said he doesn't want to go to counseling. Well, he probably doesn't want to go to counseling because he probably feels like this whole thing he was forced into from the very beginning. You're going to have to watch the whole show, Christina, if you want to hear what I said. You may not like what I say, but I'm being honest, and I care about your well-being, your husband's well-being, and everyone's well-being. And I also made you a counter offer to do a show if you want to do one. But you can't go back now because I have the DVR, the rewind, disabled during my life, so people can stay here live and not rewind back. Christina said for the first 2 years of their marriage, he was good. Then after the 2-year mark, he changed. And again, what I was saying, what was that? Give me a second here. I thought I heard something come through the headset. Okay, I hope we're still clear here. I think we are. Let me check. Give me a second. Give me a second here. And I also made you a counter offer to do a show if you want to do one. All right, we're good. We are good. Like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, the only thing I could think of after 2 years, and you don't have to respond here, Christina, it's not a big deal, is that, if something happened and you gained some weight and he was no longer attracted to you physically, that could make a difference there, right? Why would a man be good for the first 2 years of the marriage and then all of a sudden just drop it like it's hot, right? That doesn't make any sense to me, especially after a newborn kid comes into the picture. Okay, I can rewatch it after. Yeah, and honestly, Christina, look, I'm probably the only person that really truly cares about helping you and your husband and just trying to give you folks some good advice to help you get through a situation that probably should have never happened in the first place. I think you're realizing that now. A lot of people think I'm a jerk. A lot of people think, I'm speaking that on my ass. No, I care. But the only way you can help people is by being honest and giving them tough love. That's that. A couple more. I have three more paragraphs here. Then I'm going to go off the air. Christina said to her husband, you have to make it easier on me than you're making it so I'm not miserable. Let me repeat that again. That's what she said. She said to her husband, you have to make it easier on me than you're making it so I'm not miserable. Well, if he was forced into this marriage initially because a kid was on its way, which is what I assume happened, and I don't know if you'd ever admit that if that's what happened or not, Christina. No one's asking you to admit anything. I'm just saying if he was forced into this due to a kid coming into the picture before the marriage happened or before a proposal of marriage happened, then the guys felt trapped for the longest time. Probably this guy felt trapped once you were pregnant. That's what I'm assuming happened. Based on the timeline of events, based on the age of the child you had with him, 8 years old, you've been married for 8 years, and you have an 8-year-old. So obviously the pregnancy happened before you were married, right? These are the things that aren't being talked about, and these are the missing links that I'm putting in there. Razor Edge says, the sex is not as good as it used to be in the beginning of the relationship. It can be as good and it can be better. But if the woman changes, if she stops taking care of herself, puts on a lot of weight, and stops being the same person she was when they first met, what do you expect? The same thing with men. What if he gained a bunch of weight? Right? Maybe he did. We don't know. What if he stopped taking care of himself? She'd lose attraction for him. It works both ways. There's a good reason something happened to him. I can't really disclose it, but through sickness or health. Okay, no, I get that. Maybe he's impotent. Who knows? Maybe he became impotent. If he became impotent, that's cool. If he became impotent, that's cool. But if that's the case, if it's something to the point of where he can't perform anymore, the way you're behaving, you're not supporting him. Definitely not trapped. He wanted the child. I was okay with my... Okay. Fair enough. Hey, good guy. How you doing? Welcome to the show. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out here. Okay. My girlfriend, Dawn, Real Talk Christina, has been dealing with a lot of emotional issues regarding her daughter not talking with her. She broke her ankle. She's been dealing with depression and anxiety. She's a wonderful woman. I love her. But I stand by her. I'm not even married to Dawn. I will be probably within a year or so. But we've been living together. We've been together 2.5 years. We've been living together for a year and a half. And it's like we're married even though we legally aren't. I do everything for Dawn because I love her. She is on a lot of medication. I bought a pill container for AM and PM Sunday through Saturday meds. Every Saturday night, I fill up her meds properly. I take an hour to do it to ensure accuracy for her daytime and nighttime meds. I also have a different, Sunday through Saturday, pill container. And she's taking a lot of vitamins recommended by her doctors. I fill that for her. And I help her out. I love her. LMAO, that's not it. Okay, well, it's something then, Christina. There's something that is keeping you two apart. And something that you don't want to say, and that's fine. Dashing Dante, you're probably a sock account, a fake sock account. I saw you on Christina's stream earlier. Dashing Dante joined July 12, 2021. Dashing Dante, if you white knight for Christina or anyone else, I will remove you. We don't allow white knights here in my chat. I keep it real, Christina. I keep it real. That's the way that I am. It's always been great, but when you get married, it doesn't happen as much. That's bullshit. That's absolute BS. Absolute BS. I have many friends that are married, and they do it all the time. It's called losing attraction for one another, or one person loses attraction and withdraws. That you're not being honest with yourself, Christina. You got to be on, Christina. You got to be honest with yourself if you want to rectify a situation. A lot of assuming he can perform perfectly fine. Okay. Then what's the problem? What's the problem? Like, you say one thing on your lives, you go elsewhere, and you contradict what you said. I don't understand that. I'm from the gig community. All right, welcome, Dashing Dante. Dante is like a famous guy, a famous trolling name of people that go around and trash talk other creators and saying that, Dante banged your woman and stuff like that. It's all good, man. I just thought it was ironic your name is Dashing Dante. Might as well be Chatter Tyrone, right? Christina, honestly, Christina, this is probably the last time I'm going to talk about this. I made you one offer to counter offer to do a show live. It'll have to be done a certain way on my other channel. If you want to do that, we can do that. If not, I'm moving on, because quite honestly, Christina, like, this whole thing's not making any sense to me. It's like you say one thing on your channel, then you go elsewhere, you say something else. It's almost kind of like, wanting to create drama to keep this all going, right? That's just so funny. Oh man. A couple more things here that Christina said on her show, and then I'm going to go off the air. Christina said the sex has something to do with the situation. He's disabled. Oops, please don't make fun of him. Why would we make fun of somebody disabled, Christina? Christina, if you're taking a stab at what trolls have said about me, which is not true, yes, I have had some run-ins with some disabled people out here that are blind or autistic or whatever, that have trash talked me, and I defended myself. I don't care who you are, disabled or not. If you trash talk myself or my woman, I will call you out. It's fair game. That's not trashing a disabled person. This is my channel, Christina. I am being respectful. I don't need someone telling me to be respectful in my own chat. I'm not being rude. I'm just saying, hey, this is my house. I'm not getting frustrated with you, Christina. I'm calling you out on your BS. That's all. That's all, Christina. Here's the thing. Your man does not have the balls to call you out, which is why you've lost respect for him. And you've probably lost some attraction for him too. That's the thing, Christina. The bottom line is your man is not holding you accountable for piss poor behavior at times. I'm not saying you're a bad person, but every single woman sometimes will react or overreact. It's the guy's job to be emotionally strong and calm the woman down. It happens with Don all the time. I tell my lady, babe, listen, you're being ridiculous. I love you. We don't need to argue about this. I don't argue women. There's no point to arguing a woman. I'm a strong man. You've talked on your show, Christina. You said that there are a lot of weak men out there, right? There are a lot of very weak, needy, desperate, and insecure men out there. And I think partially that's part of the problem with your husband. I based on what you're talking about, I'm thinking he's a weak, needy, desperate, and insecure guy. And that turns you off. And that causes you to have no respect for him. Now, he may be a nice guy, and he may be the provider, and maybe that's why you're still there, in my opinion, but he's not standing up to you, and basically you've lost respect for him. You are so confused because, like you said on your stream, the truth hurts. Christina, I'm not trying to bash you or your husband or anyone. I'm trying to get you to realize that until you own up to your part, until you actually come clean with yourself and understand what's really going on, it's never going to change for you. I know exactly what I'm saying, Christina. I'm a 50-year-old man with lots of experience, and I've got a great relationship of 2.5 years. And my girlfriend lives with me with our 2 dogs, and we communicate regularly. We have disagreements, but we don't argue over it. We just work through it. We talk it out like grown adults do. Razor edge. Christina, your BS is obvious. Your husband has gone limp on you. Oh, that's horrible, man. I don't want to, that's pretty immature, but I get it. Gig guy, I understand. Roy is too aggressive for me. I don't like aggressive men. No. See, Christina, here's the thing. It's not about men being aggressive. It's about men being men and not putting up with women's BS. Now, I don't like the way Roy approached you. I don't. Roy was too hard. I'm not being hard on you. I'm just being truthful. Roy went at you too hard, but you needed to be called out. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize. I thought that your husband was the issue here. But after hearing more of what you said today and what I've been hearing since that show you did with Roy, are men or women the problem? Like you're giving the answers yourself. And then you're going around in chats like mine, you're contradicting yourself regarding what you said on your own show. You are. I didn't say this is your channel. Yeah. Gig guy, Roy doesn't get frustrated. He rages. He needs to get professional help with his anger before he does something that will put him in jail for a very long time. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, Roy is still going through what's called the red pill rage, gig guy. He's still not over, his divorce with his wife. Maybe he got taken for half his shit. I don't know. It happens, right? And that's all because, when you folks decide to get married, you end up not properly vetting your partner before you get married, or something happens like an unplanned pregnancy or something, and then you're forced into marriage, right? When you're really not, right? Roy's a lonely man. Well, he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be lonely, But yeah, Roy also uses YouTube as an outlet. I don't have a problem with people using YouTube as an outlet to a certain extent, but after a while, you got to create some real content and try to help people, not come out here seeking validation. See, I think, Christina, a lot of what you're doing out here on YouTube is called validation-seeking behavior. And validation-seeking behavior, you're trying to make it appear like you're totally right and your husband is totally wrong. So you can have people validate, your statements that aren't totally true, so you can feel better about yourself. I am motivating you. I'm motivating you by saying you need to be honest with yourself first before any change can be made. And you don't like being called out on the truth, right? And maybe your husband, who's sounds kind of beta to me, isn't able to stand up to you and say, you're being ridiculous, babe. Let's sit down and talk about this like grown adults, because I don't like your attitude. You need to be called out. All women need to be called out. Men need to be called out. My woman calls me out all the time and I call her out. But you know what? We talk about it and then we kiss and then we do something you're probably not doing right now with your husband. Roy's ex-wife left him for a young guy. Well, is that true? I mean, it's none of my business, but I mean, if that's true, there's a reason why those things happen. The last line here. Christina says she does everything she's supposed to do, but she feels taken for granted and not appreciated. One more time. Christina says she does everything she's supposed to do, but she feels taken for granted and not appreciated. That's what she said before she stopped talking about this. I'm giving you tough love, Christina, because until you come clean with yourself and stop trying to cover up what's really going on because you feel ashamed, it's never going to change. I'm not trying to be critical or mean or anything. I'm not yelling at you like Roy does. I'm not yelling. I may be speaking in a more firm tone of voice, but I'm not a sissy man. I'm not a beta male. I'm not going to suck up to a woman. I'm not going to put a woman on a pedestal. I will respect a woman at the same level where she deserves respect. I respect both men and women when they deserve respect, and when they don't, they're not going to get my respect. Christina's husband sounds like Roy, weak and needy. Well, her husband sounds like she won't even stand up to her and call her out on things that she needs to be called out on. Every man and woman needs to be called out on stuff. I definitely won't be doing a show with you no matter what. You have too many rules. I don't have any rules. Well, I like to do things professionally, and I want to keep trolls out. And hey, Easy Prod, how you doing? I'm not making assumptions, Christina. I think I'm spot on about my assessment. And again, until you come clean with yourself, it's never going to change for you. I truly care about everyone's well-being, including yours and your husband's. But I'm not going to sit here and suck up to you and tell you what you want to hear when it's not the right thing. All right, David M., you're out of here. I warned you one time. You white knight a second time, you're out of here. That's pathetic, David. There's not a woman on the planet that's going to respect you for kissing their ass, sucking up to them, putting them on a pedestal, and white knighting, dude. That is the most pathetic thing any man can do. That is feminine energy. This is how I talk to everyone, Christina. This is how I help people. I give them the truth with tough love. I'm not going to suck up to anyone. This is exactly how I talk to everyone. I'm being real and raw. Just like you say, Christina, real talk, Christina. The thing is, Christina, you just can't handle the truth. That's all. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm not yelling at you. I really wish you and your husband the best. But I already know what's going to happen. I'm not going to block you, Christina. But I do block men that white knight and suck up to women. This is creating the problem, between men and women. We have too many thirsty beta males that will overly inflate the value of women by sucking up to them and kissing their ass just because they want to try to get a piece of ass. I try to help men better understand that. There's no way in hell any woman, including you, is going to respect a guy that is sucking up to you and telling you everything that you want to hear. I can block whoever I want. This is my channel. If people are being disrespectful, I don't want that here. I believe in the First Amendment, but I don't flex it. And quite frankly, again, I want a good, clean chat. I want to help people. I don't want any drama. This now is turning into drama. Hey, Tammy, how you doing? It is white knighting when a man is sticking up for a woman that you're trying to help by having her come clean with her side of things. Dashing Dante, have yourself a great day. You're a white knight also. Look at this is happening in real time. AZ Prod, you still around? AZ Prod, Put a 1 in the chat if you feel these guys are white knights and they're sucking up. They're sucking up because they're trying to get the attention of a woman. I'm not talking to you like this, Christina. I'm running a show over something that's been publicly mentioned. Tammy, this is my channel here, and I'm running my shows the way I run them. This has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with anything you and I have going on. I've been very respectful to you. This is how I help people. Tough love. That's the way it is. Christina needs a unicorn horn. Yeah, I mean, this is just showing the true cards. Yep. I never white knighted for you, Christina. I thought that you were right initially until I heard you speak more. I do feel Roy was hard at you. Jake Reed says 1. All these guys in here are saying you guys are white knighting. These are reasonable men here, right? You're white knighting, right? I stood up for you, Christina, and I'll still stand up for you regarding how Roy came at you. Roy was coming at you hard. I'm not coming at you hard. I'm being professional and nice and calling it as I see it, trying to help you legitimately. And you're taking it out of context, Christina, because you're not getting what you want. The bottom line is that you're a woman that is used to getting what you want, and when you don't get what you want, you make a ruckus until you get what you want. And a lot of times men will give in to you, and then after a while, they get tired of giving into it because it's ridiculous, right? Oh, plenty of people want to work with me, Christina. Plenty of people. I'm keeping it real. There are a lot of people that respect my work and respect what I do. And this whole situation, Christina, proves a point to me. It proves a point to me. I'll tell you this, quite honestly, I don't like the way Roy approached you. I don't like how angry Roy gets. He needs to work on that. But with most other things that he said on his show, he was right. Because he was seeing the fact that you're not being reasonable with any of it, right? You're not being reasonable with any of what he was saying. You weren't. My only issue with Roy was the fact that he kept on coming at you like a raging bull. I'm not. I'm speaking to you professionally and calmly. But it does. You have no biz speaking on her and her marriage. You don't like it when it's done to you or Don. People talk about me all the time, Tammy. This is a platform where if people are going to put their stuff out there, we have the right to respond to it. You guys have done it to me all the time. I stand up when somebody is not telling the truth. Well, try telling the truth within yourself. I don't care if you BS myself or other people. Christina, what I care about is people BSing themselves, because you're only hurting yourself if you're not being honest with yourself. All right, Christina, now you're out of here. I'm done. I'm out of here. You showed your cards tonight, Christina, and every single gig economy creator, including Roy, now has a reference point. You showed your true colors. When you don't get your way, Christina, you start trash talking people and you start going off for no reason. I gotta go, folks. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, be good to each other.